Huh? $10,000?
That's how much I need. So take the money out of the inheritance you got from your father, Monica.
No way. There's no way you can use $10,000 from the inheritance. I mean, why should I use my father's inheritance for your family in the first place?
You're a heartless person. Your own husband's family is in trouble.
Then it's only normal for you to explain why your family needs the money, right? It's no use talking to you. Let's go to your parents' house right now so I could ask them about it.
What?
My name is Monica. I'm a 42-year-old office worker. I live with my husband Ben and our daughter Rachel, who is in the 9th grade. We fight sometimes, of course, but we are happy as a family in our own way. I thought that our daily life would go on as usual. However, it seems that things are not as they seem, since just the other day my father passed away due to illness. I was really sad because he had taken very good care of me. I cried at the funeral. My mother was also very sad about the loss of her beloved husband. After that, when I had calmed down, my father's inheritance was transferred to my bank book. My eyes almost popped out of my head when I saw the amount. Of course, the amount was split with my mother, but it amounted to a few $1,000s. Actually, my father was the owner of several companies, therefore he had considerable assets. However, that didn't turn him into a person who showed off how rich he was. He had always been a frugal person, and he led an ordinary life. He did not own luxury brands or go frequently to eat out at luxury restaurants, nor did he live the life of a so-called rich person. Even the allowances he gave me was the average amount, so he had a common sense of money. Therefore, it was quite a shock for me to suddenly receive tens of thousands of dollars in my bank book. When I talked to my mother about it, she told me, "It was left to you by your father, so spend it as you like." Spend it as I like, huh? If I think it that way, then I guess I'd like to leave it for my daughter and my family. My daughter is a high school student, and her tuition fee will cost more and more every year. It would also be good to use that money to fund my future retirement. I decided that I would use this money in case something happened to me. Therefore, I decided not to touch it at all, to leave it as if it had never existed, and to use it when I really needed it. From then on, I went about my normal daily life as usual. Then my husband suddenly said he needed to talk to me. What's wrong?
Well, I got a call from my mother.
Your mother? Is something wrong?
No, they want us to lend them some money.
What? What do you mean?
I don't know the details, but they said it's been tough for them.
What's tough for them, though?
Well, anyway, they just need a lot of money. That's why she's asking for our help.
But we don't have a lot of money. We are saving our money for Rachel's tuition anyway.
About that, you did receive an inheritance from your father who passed away, right?
Excuse me?
Don't tell me that you didn't receive it. Know that my father-in-law owned several companies too. He must have had some assets for you to inherit. I mean, there's no way that you, who's your father's only daughter, didn't get it, right? Even if you hid it from us, we'd find out about it, you know?
It was a statement I never expected to hear, especially from my husband. And it was certainly a lot which I inherited, so I didn't tell my husband about it. Because I also heard that when people get a tremendous amount of money, their personality could change. I was going to manage that money as if it was basically not there. So I was surprised when my husband mentioned the inheritance, even though I hadn't said anything about it. Well, yes, I did receive a little bit, but...
How much did you receive?
Huh?
I'm asking you, how much did you receive for the inheritance?
Now, wait a minute. Why do I have to tell you that so suddenly?
I see. You got a lot that you can't even tell me, huh?
No, it's not like that.
Okay then, I guess you'd be able to manage about $10,000.
Huh? $10,000? What are you talking about?
That's how much I need. So take the money out of the inheritance you got from your father, Monica.
No way. There's no way I can give you $10,000. First of all, what are you going to use that kind of money for?
I told you I don't know the details either.
That's just so weird. Why should I spend my father's inheritance for your family anyways?
You're a heartless person. Your own husband's family is in trouble.
Then it's only normal for you to explain why your family needs the money, right? I mean, your parents should come and ask me directly for it, right?
No, it has to be through me first.
It's no use talking to you. Let's go to your parents' house now so I could ask the details to them.
What?
If you won't go, I'll go by myself and ask them.
Okay, I'll go too.
My husband reluctantly agreed, and we went to my parents-in-law's house. My in-laws were surprised that we visited them so suddenly. Oh, what in the world is going on?
What a sudden visit from you two.
I think it's more sudden to ask us to give you $10,000. When I said that, their faces stiffened. I'll make a pot of tea right away.
Oh, you two came a long way. Come in, come on up.
So we all sat down in the living room and started to talk about it. Please kindly explain. How did you come to need such a large amount of money? Well, you see...
It's been tough for us too, you know.
My in-laws were being very vague, just like how Ben was. That's enough. If you don't want to explain it properly, I'll leave. I can't pay $10,000 for a reason that won't be explained to me. I stood up and my in-laws stopped me, as if they were hanging on to me desperately. Wait a minute.
I'll explain it. Just please listen.
Then my parents-in-law awkwardly told me why they needed the money. What? My sister-in-law had an affair and you need the money to pay for her alimony? What the heck? She did that again? Actually, my sister-in-law has been requested for alimony in the past because of her affair. At that time, as I recall, my parents-in-law paid it on her behalf. Yes, that's right. This time, the person who she cheated with was married. Not only her husband, but also the wife of the lover is demanding alimony from her as well. Huh?
And that amount is $10,000 in total.
What in the world does she do to get a claim of $10,000 in alimony? That's a lot, isn't it? I was beyond angry and dismayed. How much have these people spoiled their own daughter? And to think that they could no longer handle it themselves and would turn to their own son's wife? Please, we have no one to turn to but you. I'm sorry, but I can't pay the fees for her affair.
Oh no. Hey, Monica, you're being too much.
You tried to get me to give you money without telling me why, didn't you? I didn't like how this started out from the beginning. And the reason why you didn't tell me the reason until the last minute was because you really didn't think it was possible to borrow money for such a thing, right? When I said that, both my husband and my in-laws got quiet. I said, I won't give the money anyway, and left my parents-in-law's house. That night, my husband stayed at my parents-in-law's house for a while and came back home.
Why did you go home first?
Because there was nothing more to talk about.
Mom and Dad were crying. They were saying, what are we going to do now?
Excuse me? It was your sister who got into this mess in the first place, wasn't it? I don't understand why your mother and your father is being like this.
That's only natural since we're all a family. My sister doesn't have $10,000 to pay and my family don't have that kind of money either. That's why we can only depend on you, Monica.
But that's not right. Normally you pay for your own alimony, right? Even if the alimony is very expensive, there are ways to pay it in installments. Isn't your sister repeating the same mistake because her family is helping her out for everything?
Anyway, Monica, you got the inheritance and has quite a bit of money to spare, right? If that's the case, why don't you give us a little help?
I'm trying not to spend that money in case something happens to us or Rachel. We can use it for Rachel's school fees, for our retirement, and for many other things.
If you say that the inheritance is there in case something happens to us, it also applies to my sister, doesn't it?
No, why?
What? You're abandoning your family?
Wow, it really is no use talking to you. My priority is Rachel, and next is me and you. And the reason why your sister needs it is just too disappointing, and she deserves what she got. I mean, if she was in an accident and you all needed money for medical treatment, that's one thing. But alimony for your own infidelity? I honestly think that's disgusting.
Are you trying to insult my sister?
I'm just giving you the general opinion. This is what happens when you and your mother spoil your sister. You know that, right? If you really care about your sister, then you should hold her accountable for her own actions.
Huh. You've changed since you got your inheritance.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know how to explain this, but you've become so stingy.
What?
That's enough. I was stupid to depend on you.
Saying that, my husband went back to his room. What was that? He talked to me as if he was looking down on me. He's the one who's insane. I was completely disappointed with my husband. The next day, something unexpected happened. When I came home from work, my daughter came running up to me with an anxious look on her face. Rachel, what's wrong? Well, it's Dad. As soon as he got home from work, he packed up his stuff and... What? Dad said that he was going back to his parents' house, so he asked me if I wanted to come too. I told him I was waiting for you, Mom, and he said, okay, and just left. Hey, did you and Dad have a fight? I can't believe he actually left. Rachel, I'm sorry for worrying you. Dad and I had a bit of a fight, you see, and your dad got upset and went back to his parents' house. I see. She still looks worried. Is there still something wrong? Well, actually, Dad asked me where you hid your bank book and stuff. Excuse me? When I asked him why, he said he was going to cancel the savings account and the insurance. What? I didn't understand, but somehow I thought he was trying to do something wrong without telling you, so I told him I didn't know. Thank you, Rachel. You've been a great help. To my surprise, my husband found it impossible to rely on my inheritance, and now he was trying to get money by canceling our daughter's school savings account. You can't stay married to someone like that anymore. That's what I thought to myself. Mom, is something wrong? I had no choice but to tell her the truth. Told my daughter the whole story as it was. Then she exclaimed, That's the worst! What in the world is wrong with my aunt, grandma, and grandpa? Who do they think my mom is? And they were even trying to cause trouble to me too? Mom, you need to break up with a guy like him. Are you sure about that? You'll lose your father, and plus, you'll have to change schools too, you know. That's fine. Because it is not better for me or you to be with a guy like Dad. My daughter insisted that much that I made up my mind. Thankfully, my husband never came back himself, so Rachel and I found a room to move it into. Then later that day, the divorce papers in hand, I rode up to my in-laws' house with my lawyer. When I arrived home, my in-laws greeted me and said terrible things to me. Who the hell do you think you are?
You heartless woman, who won't even try to help us.
Are you sure you could say that? I'm recording what you just said, so I could sue you for moral harassment, you know. What? When I said that, my in-laws became quiet and led me through to the living room. In the living room, my husband was sitting with his arms crossed as if he was the boss of the house.
Finally, you're here. You finally decided to offer me $10,000?
Are you stupid? Of course not.
What?
I wanted to say something to you. You're disgusting, sneaking around behind my back and trying to get money by canceling my daughter's school savings account. You should be ashamed of yourself as a father.
Shut up. I was just trying to help my precious sister. What's wrong with trying to take care of your own family?
You think it's okay if my family is in trouble because of that?
Well, it's not like you guys are in trouble like my sister, right?
So you think it's okay for us to be in trouble then? Fine, I get it. Well, Rachel and I don't need you in our lives.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Let's get a divorce.
Huh?
I said that and put the divorce papers on the table. This guy is my lawyer, so we can start talking about child support and so on right away.
Wait a minute. You can't just suddenly start talking about divorce.
That's right. Monica, you better think this through. Whether you think about it or not, the answer is the same. If you and I stay as a family any longer, I will only be used as a convenient money tree.
You don't have to put it that way.
But it's true, isn't it? When I came over earlier, your mother and father said something terrible to me, just because I didn't help them pay off for their daughter's alimony. Well, that's...
Hey, please just reconsider. Even Rachel won't approve of this. She'd be shocked.
Unfortunately, Rachel wants us to get a divorce, and after the divorce she wants to live with me. She doesn't want to see her dad, her grandma, or her grandpa anymore.
No way!
My husband was quite shocked that his daughter abandoned him. His parents-in-law were also depressed and looked down knowing that their granddaughter said that. After that, my husband, who had lost all his hope, signed the divorce papers with an explanation from my lawyer. Thus, our divorce was successfully finalized. My daughter and I are living peacefully in our new home. Ben originally asked me to let him see his daughter because he would pay child support. But I gave him the condition that he would pay child support and have it to his daughter's decision each time whether or not to see him. By the way, Rachel still does not want to see her father, and my ex-husband has not been able to see his daughter at all. My ex-husband still contacts me to ask me to get back together with him, but I ignore all of his messages. He also reported to me that his sister is having a hard time, even though I didn't ask for any information at all. Apparently, Ben's parents and my ex-husband couldn't help her with money either, and she is currently working nights to pay off the alimony little by little. She is not getting along with her lover either, and is now back at her parents' house. As expected, my parents-in-law have decided that they can no longer spoil my sister-in-law, and they are nagging her every day and giving her all sorts of warnings. Well, from my point of view, it's like they are finally doing something about it. On the other hand, my daughter and I live comfortably together in a spacious and beautiful apartment. My daughter has become much better at housework, and she supports me a lot during my busy work schedule. I am sure she will be a good wife in the future. I am happy that she seems to have made friends at her new school right away. I would like to continue to live happily with my daughter, supporting each other. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.